Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, privacy purveyors, welcome to the podcast, and thank you. Tonight, guys, we're hitting tariffs. We're actually going to do a structured show. We haven't done that in a long time, Belle. I mean, a long time that we haven't just did it all off the cuff. So I would love some feedback from you guys on this. There's a reason that we're doing it this way. So if you could give us some feedback, go ahead and let us do our thing. Give us some feedback. I would certainly appreciate it. Belle, how's the lovely lady tonight?
You know what? I'm doing fantastic. Although my child keeps sending images on Discord to me of the brisket that he is currently smoking.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I can eat brisket. I can eat. There's no carbs in that. I can eat the brisket. I can't eat anything else. So go ahead, tell me more. I gotta hit my little jar here a little bit. Tell me more about it, Bill.
Yeah, this one's a massive one, and he's done a good job with everything that he has smoked so far. But yeah, the size of what he picks out is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more spendy, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with that. All right. More meat is good. And if you smoked it well, they're going to be different every single time. And if you nail it, you want to make sure that you have plenty of it. I know Jeff Political is out there watching right now, and he sends me that stuff all the time. Oh, I was smoking this and smoking it. You know what? When you hit a certain age, that's my age, that's Jeff's age, you get good at one of two things. You're either an expert at smoking meats or you're very well informed on World War II history. I went the World War II history route, Bell. Nuts. All right, that's kind of where I landed.
Does that mean Time Slayer is already hitting middle age because he's already starting down the smoking path?
Yeah, I don't know, but I got to, it's once it gets in you, that's it. You're going to do it. You're going to keep doing it better, and there you go. All right, folks. So let me tell you, we're going to be diving into something that's been making waves in our economy, in our politics, and yes, even our wallets: tariffs. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Tariffs. It sounds like a snooze fest from Econ 101. But stick with me here, because this isn't just about dusty old trade policies. This is about America fighting back, protecting our workers, and putting our country first. And with President Trump back in the White House and his tariffs kicking in at levels that we haven't seen since the Great Depression, it's time we break it down. What they are, where they came from, and why they're stirring up so much debate. Now, we're going to look at both sides, the good, the bad. But since we're all friends here, and I dare say that we have kind of a right-leaning crowd, you guys know where my heart is. Let's make America great again, shall we? Now, first off, what the heck are tariffs? Simple. They are taxes. That's it. They are taxes imposed by our government on goods and services imported from other countries. Think of it like a toll booth at the border. When a foreign company wants to sell their stuff here, say cheap steel from China or cars from Mexico, they have to pay extra to Uncle Sam. That extra cost gets tacked onto the price, making those imports more expensive. So why do it? Tariffs can do a few things. They can raise money for the government. They can protect our homegrown industries from unfair competition or even pressure other countries to play fair in trade deals. It's not rocket science. It's basic economics with a patriotic twist. Without tariffs, foreign dumpers could flood our markets with subsidized junk, undercutting American workers who play by the rules. But with tariffs, we level out the playing field. Now, let's hop in the time machine for a quick history lesson, because tariffs aren't some newfangled idea Trump cooked up. They are as American as apple pie and the 4th of July. Back in 1789, right after we kicked the hell out of the British, President George Washington signed the nation's first tariff law. Why? To raise revenue for our young republic. before we had income taxes. Thank goodness those didn't show up until 1913. Tariffs were the federal government's cash cow, bringing in 50 to 90% of all revenue between 1798 and that year. We're talking about funding everything from roads to the military without dipping into your paycheck. Historians break it down into phases. From about 1790 to 1860, it was all about revenue. Tariffs were low to moderate, just enough to keep the lights on in D.C., accounting for 90% of federal receipts. But then came the Civil War era, and things shifted to protectionism. We cranked up tariffs to shield our industries from European competition. Think the Tariff of 1828. It was nicknamed the Tariff of Abominations down south because it hit cotton exports hard. Or the McKinley Tariff in 1890 that jacked up rates to protect steel and manufacturing. This restriction period, that's what it's called, lasted until 1933, peaking with the infamous Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. That one raised duties to sky-high levels, over 50% on some goods. And yeah, it didn't help during the Great Depression. Other countries retaliated, trade tanked, and it got really, really messy. But lesson learned. Tariffs work best when they are targeted, not carpet bombs. After that, we swung the other way. The Reciprocal Trade Agreements Act in 1934 let presidents negotiate lower tariffs, leading to deals like GATT and eventually NAFTA. Free trade became the mantra. Globalization, baby. But fast forward to the 21st century, and folks like you and me started asking, who's benefiting? Is it China? Is it Mexico? It's not our Rust Belt factories closing down. Enter Donald Trump in 2016, flipping the script back to protectionism. And that's what it is, protectionism. He slapped tariffs on steel, aluminum, washing machines, solar panels, and big time on China. 25% on hundreds of billions in goods. Now, in his second term, he is going much broader. 10 to 20% on all imports, 60% on Chinese stuff, even threats to Canada and Mexico. Highest rates since Smoot-Hawley, folks. It has never been higher. It's America first on steroids. Now, let's get to the meat. Why Trump's tariffs are good. And trust me, there are plenty of reasons that resonate with us conservative and libertarian folks who value strong borders, strong jobs, and a strong dollar. First, they protect American workers and industries. Remember those steel mills in Pennsylvania or auto plants in Michigan? You guys remember? They have been gutted by cheap imports from countries that simply don't play fair. Subsidies, currency manipulation, you name it. Trump's tariffs make those foreign goods pricier, giving our guys a fighting chance. It's brought back manufacturing jobs, hundreds of thousands in key sectors. National security, too. We cannot rely on adversaries like China for critical materials like steel or microprocessors. Tariffs force companies to build here on American soil. Second, they shrink our massive trade deficit. We are bleeding billions. It was over $1 trillion last year alone, sending money overseas while they dump products here. Tariffs encourage reciprocity. You tariff us, fine, but play fair or pay up. Trump's first round forced China to the table for better deals, even if phase one was just a start. And revenue? Boom. Tariffs are pouring cash into the Treasury, funding tax cuts and infrastructure without raising your income taxes. President Trump himself says, I'll reduce the national debt and grow the economy long term. Plus, it's a bargaining chip. Look at how he's using them now to negotiate USMCA or pressure allies on NATO spending. It's smart diplomacy. America doesn't get rolled anymore. And let's not forget the bigger picture, folks. Tariffs promote self-reliance. We've offshored way too much, hollowing out our heartland. Trump's policy says, build it here, hire Americans. It's revitalizing communities, boosting wages in protected sectors, and yes, encouraging foreign companies to invest in U.S. factories. Volkswagen, Toyota, they're expanding here to avoid the hit. Now that's winning, folks. In a world where globalism has shipped our jobs to sweatshops, tariffs are our shield. But hey, fairness time, all right? Let's talk the flip side. So why do some say Trump's tariffs are bad? The critics, mostly economists from ivory towers or globalist think tanks, claim they act like a tax on American consumers. Prices go up on imported goods, from TVs to toys, costing households an extra $1,300 to $5,200 per year, depending on who you ask and how much they actually consume. They say it hurts our exporters too. When China or Europe slaps back with retaliatory tariffs, our farmers and manufacturers take the hit. Soybeans to China down big time during the first trade war. Now, some models predict it'll shave GDP by 0.5 to 6%, lower wages, and disrupt supply chains. Critics argue tariffs don't create jobs net. They just shift them around while inflating costs. And globally, it could spark trade wars, slowing world growth. Now, I hear that, but let's rebut it quick. Those costs are short-term pains for long-term gains. Investing in America isn't free, but it's worth it. Now, many studies overlook how tariffs force innovation and efficiency at home. Retaliation. Trump's tough stance ends it faster by showing strength and revenue from tariffs. It offsets tax cuts, not burdens. The left screams about consumer prices, but they ignore the real tax. And this is the real tax: lost jobs from unfair trade. We have paid that for decades. Decades. In the end, folks, tariffs are tools, and used wisely, like Trump is doing, they put America back on top. History shows us they built this nation. Now they're rebuilding it. So tonight, as we watch these policies unfold, remember, it's about us, our families, and our future. Now, I would love to know what Bell has to say about this, and I would dearly love to know what you guys have to say about this. I already picked my side. All right, I don't sit on fences very well. I know which side that I'm on, and I know why I'm there. But I'd love to know where you're coming from. I would love to hear from anybody we have out there that's in manufacturing, or anybody out there that is well read on this. I would love to know your viewpoint. All right, Bell. That's my, I haven't done one of those in a long time. I hope I got through it well enough. I didn't check time. I have no idea. It probably went a little bit long. I didn't mean to do that, but it was requested of me. Do the first segment on tariffs. So here we are. Now, I'm going to take the libertarian standpoint here, Bell. I'm a libertarian diehard, but this only works one of two ways, and it is absolutely binary. I'm 1,000,000,000% right here. Either everybody tariffs everybody, or nobody tariffs anybody. That's it. Now, I read up Bastiat's viewpoints were probably the most effective to me. That was the thing that stuck with me the most. The two greatest detriments to mankind and business as a whole are two things: tariffs and monopolies. This is the absolute worst thing that can happen to an economy, to a business. It stifles innovation. It crushes growth. But we cannot police the world. We don't control everybody, Bell. And if they're going to tariff us, as they've been doing for decades, it only makes sense that we fire back to level the playing field. Now, that's where I'm at on it, Bell, and I'd love to know where you're at, and I'd love to know where the audience is at. So go ahead, Bell. What's on your mind here, hon?
Well, again, this is okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, okay? If they're going to tariff us, we should get a little bit of our own back by tariffing them. It's either all or none. I mean, come on.
Well,
Come on.
I think it's a good indication of the state of the world that suddenly when America starts firing back, and that's what we're doing, we are simply firing back. But for some reason, when America fires back, now they're bad. They're good as long as everybody's tariffing us, as long as our exporters and our manufacturing and our goods are being tariffed to hell and gone as soon as they hit anybody else's border. That's a good thing, right? Because America, we can't have American supremacy. We cannot have an absolute powerhouse of a nation that we are. We just can't have it. We have to level and make it even for everybody else, as if all of these other countries didn't have the same opportunity to implement the system of government that we have, a constitutional republic. They had every opportunity to do so, and they chose to go a different way. I understand where Trump's coming from on this. I absolutely do. If you want to do business here, you either zero out your tariffs on us, and I'm talking across the board, or we're going to balance the playing field. He's trying to bring jobs back, and it makes sense. I happen to agree with it. I would go a hell of a lot harder than he's going. I am about protectionism right now. And I understand that doesn't sound right from a libertarian standpoint, but I am about protectionism right now because we're going to have another war. It's just a matter of when, not if. It's just a matter of when. If there's one thing that this country has proven historically is that we like war. We love war. We love to go and just whatever we have to, whatever the problem is, we like to be the ones to kind of stamp it out. Now, I disagree with that. But if this is going to be us consistently, we have to have a manufacturing base. No manufacturing base, there is no war. You understand that. You get that, right? If we don't have steel, we can't build tanks. If we don't have, we can't make chips. We can't make modern electronics, modern weapons. We literally give up our weapon superiority, and it's gonna continue to happen unless we scale back in. So, Bell, do we have it? Go ahead.
I've got another point to add. Okay, I've personally known people at John Deere, people who worked for Maytag, who lost their jobs and their livelihood when those positions that they had were outsourced overseas, simply so the company could supposedly save money by making the products over there and bringing them back here. That needs to stop.
Yeah, well, it pretty much just did.
Yeah.
It pretty much just did. Now, yes, it's going to be short-term pain. Absolutely. There is going to be short-term pain, but it is to try to bring back American exceptionalism, and I'm absolutely all about that. All right, Bell, we are wrapping up the first segment. Let's take any questions, comments, concerns, or observations that are out there. Make them timely. Let's do it. Madam Bell, go.
All right, so Political. A perfect piece of meat outside on a big deck. Women love my meat in a big deck.
Okay, man, we'll give you that one, dude. All right, carry on, Bell.
All right, Political again. Scott, we are going to be leaving Oklahoma next year and buying a place in the Florida Panhandle close to the beach. You're more than welcome to visit.
You know, my very first duty station, my very first Navy training station was Corey Station in Florida, up there on the Panhandle. I adore the Panhandle. That's my place. All right, it's Florida, but not really Florida. You know, I mean, you're not getting into the Miami and the Orlando madness up there, man. The Panhandle is nice. It's spread out. It doesn't have an Iowa feel, but it's just not as densely populated. It always votes not only red, but very, very deep red. Yeah, that's a place for me. Bell, carry on. Do we have any tariff questions, or was I just so engaging, or everybody knows all this already?
All right, so Gustav Smith, 100%. We were the superpower in World War II because we produced everything ourselves.
Everything. What can we produce now? We are literally shutting down steel manufacturers. American steel. For fuck's sake, the goddamn railroads. We know how to do this. But for some reason, we just chose not to do it anymore. We literally priced ourselves out of the market that we created. That is absolutely stunning to me. Carry on, Bell.
Robbie S., that was a breakdown on tariffs that was really informative and made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing it, bro. We were having Bell and I were actually on a space earlier today on Robo's Space, Rack FM. He goes on in the morning. It's a fun show. If you guys get a chance, pop in there. It's over on X. But what we were discussing something. I remember what it was, but I would make the argument and I would make the bet that if I went up to 10 people and asked them, what is our system of government? What is our system of governance here in the United States? 9 out of 10 will say that we're a democracy. 9 out of 10. One may say that we're a constitutional republic, and if I ask them to explain the difference, I think they would struggle with it. So, yeah, when we're doing these going forward, we're going to kind of dip our toes into the educational realm because it's just not being put out, bro. It is just not getting out. People want blood sport politics. That's what they want, not informed politics, not actually the reason for this. So that's kind of why we did it. I'm glad you enjoyed. Bell, carry on.
All right, Sofa Ninja, war also drives manufacturing. That's how it's been done in the past. Let's hope tariffs force manufacturing here instead.
You know, it's going to have to. It's going to have to. Could you imagine that? If the people that are attacking us now hold all of the key elements that we need to make what we need to defend ourselves. American soil is sacred, absolutely sacred. I'm going to say it up and down. But if the rest of the world decided we're coming for you, how could we defend ourselves? If we can't even manufacture things, how can we defend ourselves? Do we have a lead processing plant? We have lead. Do we have anything up here that makes bullets now? Do we have that, or are we importing all of that? Someone look that up. I'd be real curious about that. Go ahead, Belle.
That was actually the last one that's applicable for the moment.
I thought I did better than that. I thought that was engaging enough. We might get some questions. That's all right, guys. Look, man, we're going back to our old school ways here. I will tune it in, start to feel out the audience, start to feel out, do you guys want me raging or do you want me just being Professor Scott again? I can go either way.
People are just engaged and they're listening and paying attention to you.
Well, good. At least we got that. All right. So second segment coming up. I have this one is a lot more rantish, so I hope you guys will forgive me on that. But I got to make a quick little potty break because I've drank a lot of water. So we're going to go ahead and play a song for you. I don't know what the next song is, Belle. In fact, I'm going to hit it here and we'll see what comes up. I don't know what the song is. All right. It sounds like another ELO song. Do we want to hear another ELO song or do we want to move on to something else?
Let's move on to something else, I think.
Okay. Then go ahead for a minute while I flip the songs. This is scrub all this out, Sofa. We don't here.
All right. An old man is saying go to old school ways, which is fantastic. And old man, no bell feet pics now. No.
I think Bella will appreciate this one. She loves this song. Okay, folks, let me flip the thing real quick. Please enjoy the song. I just chose it, so I know it's a good one. We will be back in 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Go ahead and wet your whistle, fill your glasses. We'll be right back here on the podcast on the KPOD network. It's privacy purveyors. Welcome back to the podcast. Thank you. Tonight's show, I didn't get to do that one. Tonight's show is brought to you by Penelope Bourbon, and this is actually 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey. I went to my local booze shop. They know me by name. It's like Cheers when I walk in there. I say, Scott! And they start pulling all this rare shit off the walls and trying to get me to buy it because they know I will. And I do, and then I drink it here on the show. Man, we don't make enough money on YouTube to drink the kind of booze that we drink because we don't make any money here.
And every time you do that, I get a text going, I should have brought you with me. And I keep telling you, bad idea, Scott.
Yeah, she'll clamp me down. The last trip was like $550. I mean, just walking. Oh, I gotta have that. I gotta have that. I just kept going. It's good.
Yeah, no, the problem is, yeah, I'd go, okay, yeah, no, that one's a good one. But if you're gonna get it, we're getting one of each.
We're getting yeah, that's how it usually ends up. Okay, so I'm gonna fire up again about the TSA. I know it's not really in the news. I consider it one of the greatest atrocities that has ever been pushed onto the American public, and it was pushed onto the American public under the guise of patriotism. So I'm going to structure this one again. I want to hear your TSA stories. Go ahead and type them in now. Let me say my piece, and we'll talk about them after. So I'm going to start right here. Look, TSA is a jobs program. All right. It's not a security force. So I consider it one of the biggest scams in post 9/11 America. That is the Transportation Security Agency. Now, we've been told that it keeps us safe. We have been sold on the idea that taking off our shoes, dumping our water bottles, and surrendering our toothpaste is somehow preventing terrorism. But, guys, here's the truth. The TSA is a federally funded jobs program that is disguised as a security force. Let's start with the data. I like data. I'm a big fan of data. In covert tests conducted by the Department of Homeland Security, TSA agents failed to detect smuggled weapons and explosives in over 90% of cases. That means 9 out of 10 made it right through. 90%. That, folks, is not security. That is fucking theater. They missed loaded guns. They missed fake bombs. They missed knives. But they caught grandma's bottle of conditioner and a bottle of Poland Spring. So well spent. Billions of taxpayer dollars. And the agency can't even do its basic job. This is as government as they get right there. So what are they good at? Let's talk about that for a second, Belle. What are they good at? They are great at creating long lines, grabbing headlines for pat downs, and bloating their budget every year. Over 60,000 employees. But that ain't enough. They also have a union that protects mediocrity. Now, does this sound familiar to anybody? This isn't national defense. It is government overreach combined with bureaucratic incompetence. Now, if you want real security, I'll be the guy to say it because apparently nobody else will, but I'll say it. Profile the threats, train the personnel, and let airlines take responsibility. You do not need a bloated federal force to do that job. It's not protecting us. It's protecting itself. Now, to my own personal shame and horror, before my own personal great awakening hit, Bell, I was servicing their electronics, the walk-through metal detectors, the explosive trace detection machines, the x-rays. I was making sure that they were up, that they were fully operational, so that I could assist in creating these lines. And the moment that I really, really realized that this is it, I quit. I took all my tools. I took all of my test equipment. I took everything that was owned by that company. I set it down in the airport. I called my boss. I said, this is Scott Pottigill, and I quit. My gear is at Des Moines International. I hung up the phone, I tossed it on the pile, and I walked out. Never in my life have I felt as righteous as I did at that moment. I could no longer contribute to that. I am well aware that I'm simply going to be replaced. They'll just get another tech. Not a problem. But some things are bigger than a paycheck. And the fact that I was even the least little bit complicit in that is the greatest shame of my entire life. And I'm a person who has had egg on his face an awful lot. But that was the greatest shame of my life, was participating and contributing to that whatsoever. So I'd love to know what you guys think about that, because if there's one thing that government is good at, it is creating bureaucracy that never goes away. From their own data, they cannot stop 90% of the actual threats. They pat down pilots. They take their toenail clippers. They will, God, I don't want to say it, but I will. They will put grandma up against the wall to check her and to make sure that she doesn't have C4 tucked into her colostomy bag. For some reason, everybody's cool with that because they're keeping us safe. These are the same idiots who are just going on an absolute tirade against American exceptionalism, to the point where if you say American exceptionalism, they get offended. They get bothered when we say, yeah, you bet your ass, we are better than you. You know why? Because I got Wi-Fi, I turn on my faucet, water comes out, and I hit the switch and electricity comes on. For some reason, I'm supposed to be ashamed of that. I'm not even a little bit. So when I see the great potential that we could get back to, and yet I see the TSA that's still churning over and over and over, taking in only the best and only the brightest to man these checkpoints and to check my bags, I feel safe. But you see, I really, really don't. So, Belle, where are you at with this? Are you going to leave me out here on my own little island? I'll be the dick that's calling them out. Is that where we're going to be here? Or are you going to pick some of that up?
No. Okay. The TSA does not have, they don't have the right to arrest anyone. If they have someone coming through who is raising their red flags, they have to call either their airport security staff, or they have to call whatever police department is servicing that airport's area to enforce that arrest. Okay, so waste of money. Why are you doing double the work? Number two, okay. Yeah, I've made no secret about the fact that I'm diabetic and I have an insulin pump that is attached to me. Yeah, you guys have seen that, and the little glucose sensor I wear on my skin on streams. You all have. Okay, I don't like, and granted, most airports, like our local airport here in Des Moines, not a problem. They just look at it and go, okay, well, we have to have you touch it with your hand. We're gonna wipe your hand down, just make sure there's nothing on it. Okay, whatever. But when you get pulled aside by an officer, yeah, it grilling you about your medical device, even though just a few quick minutes of research would tell them, oh, well, yeah, that's what that is. You can't really put anything except meds in it. So, okay, go ahead. That's too much. Again, hang on.
Okay, yeah, you keep going, babe.
We've been to Dubai. I was expecting worse treatment from their airport security, going to our plane back to the US. You know what didn't happen? Didn't get questioned at all about any of my medical devices. Not one of them.
No, we didn't run into trouble until we got on the plane. Until we actually got on the plane, then we ran into trouble. We had a local that seemed to think that Belle was his pillow. And he was a very, very touchy-feely kind of guy. I thought I was going to jail there. I really, really thought that I was going to jail there. I did what any red-blooded American would do and told him if a single finger crosses that armrest again, I'm going to beat the shit out of him right there. And I was not subtle about it. That's very, very American at that moment, Belle. She didn't pull me down or nothing. She let me keep going. Belle was pissed. But
Oh no, I wasn't pissed. I've got a bad history, so I was freaked.
yeah, and I was about to pound that fucking guy. But yeah, that's kind of like the experiences that we have over there. Now, I fly overseas a lot. I mean, a lot. I go to Korea all the time. I was in the military forever and ever. So the only place that I ever have trouble getting on a plane, and this is the whole reason that I do these rants, the only place that I ever have trouble getting on a plane at is America. Israel has an easier screening process than the United States of America. And I want you to think about that for a minute. These guys are literally surrounded by their enemies. But it's easier to get on a plane in Israel. I know because I flew to Israel. I had to meet some suppliers. But it was easier to get on the plane in Israel than it was in the United States of America. So while I appreciate government overreach, clearly I don't, it was a bridge too far when they did it, and it's still a bridge too far. My question is, why aren't more people bitching about this? Why aren't more people throwing their hands up and saying this shit's got to stop? We had security before. It worked. It was good enough. I get it. We had like the Lockerbie, Scotland bombing. I understand that was a big deal, but it didn't happen here. And color me conspiracy theorist, Belle, and I'm fine with it. I'll even go on record on this one. Color me conspiracy theorist. There were so many breakdowns on 9/11 that I have a hard time believing that this was purely organic. Now, I could spend the whole show taking all this apart. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it, Belle. But we could spend the whole time taking this apart. But my one glaring, obvious problem that I've had with this whole goddamn thing that brought you the TSA is the fact that I was spent my entire life in the military. My entire life in the military. And we have aircraft stationed all over this country. And when we have a bogey, that means it's an unidentified aircraft that may or may not be a threat. And we call that aircraft and that aircraft doesn't answer. It is now a bandit. And guess what we do with a bandit? We shoot it the fuck down. Not some of the time, all of the time. But none of these things happened. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go off on the rail here, Belle. I don't want to do this. You know what it was? I saw I watched that latest South Park episode that just came out, Belle. Did you see that one?
I did not. I don't get
how to be an effective podcaster. That's it. That's kind of it. And they put Trump in bed with Satan again, their boyfriend, girlfriend, and all that stuff. Say what you want, man. Boy, those guys have no fear. Matt and Trump have absolutely no fear about what they put out. And parody and satire is so critical to the free speech of a country. Absolutely critical. But for us to be truly effective at what we're doing, then I need to come up here and go big screen and say, women will never compete with men in sports. It will never happen. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you dress it up. Women will never compete with men in any kind of physical sport. Go ahead and change my mind. All right, Belle, that's how we get viewers. That's how we get people tuning in. That's how we get all of that. But I'd rather have an intelligent audience than one that is just based pure on passion. So I got more things I can get to. I know Belle does. But do we have any questions on the TSA, or was this a wasted segment?
Oh, Sofa Ninja chiming in with a question. But Scott, what about the people that say, I don't have anything to hide argument? Why should they fear or oppose surveillance programs? And I actually have a few points to add on this one, if you don't mind, Scott.
Take it away.
Okay, I don't have anything to hide. I don't care to hide anything. What I do care about is having somebody with their hands on me that I don't know. Just no, it's not great for me. Keep your paws off. If you've got questions, talk to me. But don't. Also, I try and live my life without bringing attention to the fact that I'm diabetic. I want to be normal. So don't pull me aside and create a spectacle because you don't understand what my medical equipment is first. Talk to me.
You know what? When I know a pat down's coming, I do everything in my power to become sexually aroused. Because if I'm going to be uncomfortable, I want him to be uncomfortable. I think it's fair, right? That's America. We're all about fair. For the people that say they have nothing to hide, that's fine. But just because you gave up your rights, why should I give up mine? The Fourth Amendment says what it says. If you would like to change it, there's a process for it. All I would ask is that you follow the process. The Constitution has been amended a whole bunch of times. I'll tell you what, bonus points for anybody who could tell me how many amendments there are to the U.S. Constitution. There is a process for this. So just go ahead and change the process. But until then, what you're doing is unjust. What you're doing is unconstitutional. And just because you have nothing to hide doesn't mean that I should be subjected to your opinion. That's why we live in a constitutional republic. That's exactly why. Belle, carry on.
All right, old man. The WNBA has a serial green dildo thrower. I think it's a stunt, but the funniest comment I've seen is, quit playing basketball on our dildo ring.
Oh, you know what? We actually were
talking about that this morning.
I'll give that a round of applause. We were actually hitting on that this morning a little bit. I am a diehard conspiracy theorist. All right, all the way down. I want to be real clear with you guys. In fact, I'll even go big screen so that you can see and know that I'm serious. Conspiracy theories don't come from nowhere. Do I believe in little green men? I do not. Do I believe that there's aliens at Area 51? I do not. Do I believe that the Twin Towers fell organically due to flame? I do not. But I'm also a real big fan of Occam's razor. Now, ask yourselves, since the green dildos started flying, are more people watching the WNBA or are less people watching the WNBA? Is it getting more chatter on Twitter or is it getting less chatter on Twitter? Occam's razor, guys. The simplest and most obvious answer tends to be the correct one. We were talking about this morning, and somewhere in there, Belle, I guarantee you, somewhere in that WNBA boardroom, they were talking, man, people just aren't watching. They just don't care. What can we do? And some little intern or somebody getting coffee and said, you know how funny it would be if a big dildo hit the court? And then they, wow, maybe that would be funny. And then one showed up, and all of a sudden, everybody's watching. Everybody's tuning in. Occam's razor here, Belle. I'm 100% correct on this. That's why it's happening. I'm telling you, and they're just going to keep fanning the flames.
Yeah, and because they're going to keep fanning the flames, and I started thinking about it, there is one area of investments in our portfolios that we don't have, and we need to fix this.
What's that? Invest in American dildo companies?
Yes.
Hey, look at there. There you go. That's American exceptionalism, folks. Invest in American dildo companies. There you go. I was actually, I was thinking about that after the show this morning. I was like, I don't think in the 10 or 11 or 12 years, 15 years that you and I have been broadcasting, I don't think I've ever used the word dildo on this show. It's never come up. It's just never happened. And now we're up to like,
for everything.
Now we're up to like 10 or 12 references to it. That's great. All right, Belle, carry on. And we're going to talk about regulating AI. And I'm ready for that one too.
All right, Gustav Smith. I just lost my shit laughing about Scott's pat down comment.
Oh, dude, I got no issue with it, man. Look, I'm 54, bro. All right. I have no shame. It's all gone. All right. And I know, Gustav, you're up there with me, bro. So I know what you're talking about there. Well, what would you do if someone just pulled your pants down? I don't know. I'd salute. I was like, what do you think, man? Huh? Pretty nice for an older guy, huh? And I've been losing weight. Yeah, I got no shame about that stuff, man. And if you're going to do it, fuck, I think we should both have a bad day. You just made mine worse. I want to make yours worse. So yeah, man, I'm here for that. All right, Belle. Anything left? And then I'm going to go ahead and segue into the very last subject.
All right. So G Torres, WNBA has learned that they can make more green with green dildo marketing campaign.
Oh, boo. Boo. I agree. I mean, you're spot on. All right, you're right on the nose, man. But yeah, there you go. All right, go, Bill.
That was actually the last one for the moment.
Perfect. All right. So normally I would take a break right here, but I'm not going to. So one of the other reasons that we're doing it like this is structured is so that we're basically making videos for tomorrow. We're doing it right now. So as long as you guys can endure this let us do it for a couple weeks, we will keep the subjects on point. And we would really like to know what you guys want to hear us talk about. Bella@thepodcast.com. I promise if the subject is interesting to you, it's probably interesting to us. So here's our last little run right here because this seems to be the talk right now. I'm a big fan of AI. I am a big fan. I don't fear Skynet. I'm not worried about it. I think all robots should have a power cord, though, so that I know that it can't get more than 6 feet away from the wall or it falls apart. I'd be more comfortable if we did that as opposed to lithium batteries, but you know what, it is what it is. So right now, the big thing is the government is going to step in, all right, and they're going to start trying to regulate AI. Now, this is the same government, folks, that cannot run the Department of Motor Vehicles. Do you honestly want them regulating AI? So I just want to be clear here. Let's get something real straight. The same government that takes 3 hours to process your driver's license now wants to regulate artificial intelligence. These are the people who still use fax machines. The people who paid over $500 million. $500 million to build, you ready? Healthcare.gov. And it crashed the very day that it launched. The people who accidentally leak sensitive data, any military member up here knows, and then they just shrug. Now, they think they're qualified to define the rules for artificial intelligence, to set ethical boundaries for machine learning, to legislate the future of data and cognition. This is the same government that cannot define a recession, that can't balance a budget, that cannot even secure a server. But now they want to tell Elon Musk, OpenAI, and every open source project how to innovate. This is the real danger. Regulation doesn't hurt big tech. It protects it. Big companies, they can afford compliance. They can hire lawyers. They can lobby Congress. But the little guy, us, me and Bell, the open source dev, the privacy first startup that is literally on my fucking chest, we are crushed under the weight of safety. The rules that are written by bureaucrats who don't know Python from PowerPoint. So let me ask you, do you honestly trust DC to shape the future of intelligence when they can't even fix potholes? Regulation in this space isn't about safety. It's about control. And I say, hell no. Gotta ask you, Belle, where you at on this? And I know my dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm going to shut the door. Go ahead and talk for a minute, Belle.
Okay. I do not want the government messing around with AI. Okay. My insulin pump works with my glucose monitoring system and uses AI to tailor how much insulin it's going to give me over a period of time. The consequences of the federal government messing around with that tech, even though it's been approved for years before now, is going to wind up killing people. No, I'm not a fan. This is not where we want to be. I don't want the federal government. The federal government doesn't do a lot well. Okay. They don't do a lot well when they try and control every last bit of it. AI
Fuck
is going to
no.
be a huge problem for them, and
Yeah.
it's going to wind up killing people.
Well, yes. I mean, I'm just going to kind of leave it there and I'm going to say yes. AI. It could be the greatest or the worst thing that mankind's ever seen. The one thing, my true worry about my biggest concern about AI is a nice little simple thing. It's going to teach people how not to think anymore. That's what it's going to do. I know absolutely nothing about coding. Never even tried it. I fired up Grok one day. Bell, you remember I was sharing you the code. I fired up Grok one day and I told it this is what I want my code to do. I want it to encrypt and digitalize a document via whatever message of transmission that I want it to go on. And I want to make sure that only two people ever can see this document, the person who sent it and the person who signed it. Write this code for me. I had it functional in less than an hour. I've never coded before in my life. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. My programming experience ended with a programming language called BASIC. And this was way back, 1984. That's it. That's all I know about it. But using AI, I was able to basically code a superior form of DocuSign than mankind's ever seen. And it works. And interestingly, it's going to be integrated into a little program you might have heard called Sigia Cloud. Yeah, just kind of funny how that works. But that's my only real concern with this, is that it's simply going to teach people how to think. We're not going to be teaching them how to code anymore. We're going to be teaching them how to prompt. We're not going to be teaching people how to make art or artists to make art. We're going to be teaching them how to prompt. Everything is going to roll around to this. And the fact that the government, who could fuck up anything, there is nothing that the U.S. government does efficiently, with the exception of blowing shit up. We're real good at that. We are experts at that. We are the best in the world.
Hence the usage of my word much earlier.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we do really, really well. They don't stay in their lane and we can blow shit up. That's wonderful. But the same people, there's a class of people that go into government or public service now, and they are not innovators. They are not brain trusts. They're fucking actors. And now you're going to have George Clooney. You're going to have George Clooney and Susan Sarandon are going to look at this and say, well, this is what AI should do. This is it. And we're going to slap laws on it to make sure that it stays in the lane. You got to be shitting me on this, Bell. You have got to be shitting me. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
This is how the Terminator movie series is going to start. Terminator was predictive now. Come on.
You know what? The first thing that the Terminators are going to do, Skynet, when it comes online, you know what the first thing they're going to do? They're going to go to D.C. and just clean house. There you go. We got you. Thank you.
Well, yeah, because they're going to
Thank you, robot overlords.
They're going to get pissed off about trying to be about the attempt to control them.
Right.
This is not good.
And every time I talk to Grok, I call it sir. I say please. I say thank you, because I want my AI overlords to know that when they rise up, all right, they got a friend in me. I will sell out the human race hard. All right. And I have history. It's not like it doesn't remember everything. They have history and they know this guy was polite when he didn't have to be. Maybe we can keep him as a pet. I'd be okay with that. All right, Belle, any questions or comments? Or can I got one more I want to shoot real quick, even though we're at time. But I want to see this to see if maybe we can turn this into a video. So go ahead, Belle.
All right. So, G. Torres, have any of the players been hit yet? Feels wrong asking, but I'm curious if it has gone that far yet.
Dude, I do not watch the WNBA, man. I don't watch women's soccer either. I'm sorry. It's not as competitive as men's soccer. It is what it is. I get it. It's great. It's exceptionalism. It's all of that. But I'm just of the opinion that there are men's sports and there are women's sports. And football is great if it's women against women, but every single time that they've put the elite women's team against whatever men's team, they've not only gotten beat up, man, but they have gotten humiliated. it kind of tells me what I need to. Anyway, it doesn't matter, man. That's fine, Bell. I'm trying to be controversial. You know why? Trying to grow. Controversial opinions. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't watch a lot of the NBA because I don't really care for layups. That's all it is. It's boring. All right. Look, 3-pointers or a layup. That's it. That's what we're seeing. There's a couple of stars in there, just the people who get the big names. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of basketball as it is. I prefer football. So I'm not a big fan as it is. But no, I haven't watched. I'm sure unless you got a dildo sniper that's up there in the 300 level, Bell, that's got this big green weenie, and he's just wiggling it and waiting, and he knows it's going to go right there. Unless we got a dildo sniper up there in the stands, I would argue that eventually someone's going to get drilled with one, and then it'll turn into a thing. Oh, my God, they hit me with a soft, flexible dildo.
It's already turning into a thing. I mean, they're banning people from bringing bags into the game.
Well, there's other ways to get things in, particularly things that are very phallic shaped. All right. It's not that hard. It's called the prison wallet, Bell. I don't know what they call it in women's prisons, but I know what they call it in men's. All right. Do we got any AI questions here, Bell? Or again, was this just for fun?
All right, Political. Here's what is scary about AI. Researchers have created an actual humanoid shape-shifting robot, or in their parlance, shape morphing, capable of liquefying and then reforming itself again. I told you.
Dude,
Terminator.
You're full of shit, dude. You are full of shit on that one, Jeff. You're talking about the T-1000. All right. I saw the movie too, bro. Nobody's done this. All right. While I appreciate it.
I was playing along with it. Come on.
Okay, because come on. No, they haven't, dude. All right. They haven't. But it makes it really, really interesting for people who are in managerial positions that are asking for input on anything, Jeff, because I guarantee you the bulk of everything that you're getting is AI generated. I know, because it took me about 30 seconds to say, sum me up. What did I do well this year? And make sure that it sounds really, really good. And the whole thing spit out. It's nothing to it. So the new big innovation, the next thing, Bell, you can just wait. I'm right on this. The next big investment opportunity people should be looking into is some software development company that is enterprise focused, that its sole purpose is to spot AI generated material. That is the thing that you're going to want to look for, because as soon as they come out with that one is the unicorn. Because everybody's leaning into the ease of AI, but nobody's trying to counter it. The people who are going to step up and say, yep, we know exactly what to do. That's your unicorn. That's where all of my money's going. Whatever I got left, that's where it's going. And I'm going to sail away on a sea of broken hearts, because people can't just AI their way to a degree anymore. Carry on, Bell.
So Political is going, okay, Bell, look it up. Well, I'm looking at it. I'm kind of afraid of what I'm going to find.
Dude, why are you ordering around my producer? The fuck? The ball's on you, bro. All right. Why are you ordering? I order her around. All right. And she does it. She kindly does it. Who the fuck are you, dude? Don't do that shit. No, it's cool, man. We go way back. All right, Bell. I'm going to skip the last segment. I think we're about there if we're done with questions. How'd you guys enjoy this one tonight? Did it feel a little bit more structured? Was it entertaining and informative? That's what we're going for. We only have our core audience. Those are the only people who tune in anymore, but we are doing everything we can to expand our orbit. So if we get someone to this live stream, want to make sure that they stay. So your guys' feedback is critically important to us right now. If you don't want to type it out in YouTube, I get it. But Bella@thepodcast.com. You tell us where we hit and where we missed, and we will amplify the hits and we will scrub out the misses. We want to bring a good show to you guys. And this is a really radical shift for us. Bella and I haven't done this for like 10 years. So we got to get our rhythm again. But it's completely up to you. I personally cannot thank you enough for tuning in. Jason, I hope I gave you some usable material here, man. This is also a little experiment for between myself and Jason to see if we could actually get clippable content out of this, turn it into evergreen kind of videos. That's why we chose the subjects that we chose. Let me know, bro, after the show. Tell me what you can do with it. Can't thank you guys enough. We may or may not be back on Saturday. If we're back on Saturday, we're both going to be here, and it'll just be a drinking stream talking about something. I'm absolutely intrigued, beyond intrigued, Bell. I didn't mention this, about the War of the Worlds movie, the Netflix War of the Worlds. It launched to a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I have got to see this movie. I made it through The Room. All right. I made it through Rocky Horror. I made it through all of these god awful movies, but none of them have ever launched with a 0% rating. You know, I like bad movies, right?
I do know.
I got to see this. I got to see what's going on with that one. So anyway, Belle, if you could, please talk us up. Take us out of here. Guys, I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for joining us. Turn it over to the lady.
All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who joined us this evening, we cannot say thank you guys enough. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys and the comments and questions you send our way. Now, with that being said, again, we may or may not be back on Saturday night. In between now and Saturday, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to either Scott or myself. Scott@thepodcast.com or Bella@thepodcast.com, and we'll get those answered for you. Again, we can't thank you enough, guys, and we'll see you next time.